about a month ago interviewing Ross Young, CEO of USA Rugby, along with Jonathan Atkinson, COO, for a podcast. I asked him, almost as a joke, what is high performance? Because we were talking about high performance, and almost as a joke, not completely in jest, because the whole point of high performance, my question about high performance, is that a lot of people have an idea in their heads as to what that is, but I don't know if everybody agrees. And when USA Rugby just officially announced that the high performance general manager is Tamara Shepherd, who is coming out of Australia and out of Swimming Australia, there's a lot of questions about, okay, well, here's somebody who doesn't know the American rugby landscape. This is true. There's no doubt about that. So what does that mean? So I wanted to revisit the comments that Young and Atkinson had, and we'll listen to those in a little bit, but also add in Milton Haig, the new interim women's 15s national head coach, because he had been coming in to work with USA Rugby, regardless of working with the women's national team in general, to help them map out a high performance plan. That's Milton Haig's background. So he talked a little bit about what that means to him and what he thinks is the vision going forward when we talk about high performance, or a high performance manager, or a high performance general manager, or any of these titles and things like that. I wanted to get some insight as to what people mean by that, because we all have an idea. Do we all have the same idea?
And you know what? I think it's fair that I should ask this question, because I think a lot of people are afraid to ask this question, which is, what does a high performance manager or general manager do? What's the job description? Because I think we throw that around right? But I'm not even sure I could tell you exactly. I mean, I know what I envision, but I'd
say it's a question I think we've all asked ourselves, especially within a rugby environment in a complex sporting landscape like the US, because a general, a high performance manager for rugby in other environments is different from what we want out of that job description as well. So part of developing this was outlining a role, and you can go into the specifics of a job description, but a good general manager of high performance is creating the back end infrastructure around allowing coaches and strength and conditioning personnel, and provide the glue in the whole systems that they're getting supported in the right way to be able to concentrate on what they're doing with the specific athletes. So a high performance manager is not the one that's going to set coaching plans for particular programs. It's use of data, it's use of some sports science mechanics, it's it's helping oversee in all those areas. It's almost like a CEO of high performance, if you look at it, the way that the modern environment works. And we have to think about how that integrates with, the collegiate system, what's happening at youth and high school. Everything in that is different from here. So we were looking for a high performance manager that had a varied background, that is going to come in without set plans and try and enforce a rugby plan that may have worked in South Africa, New Zealand, England, Ireland.
Right.
We don't, because it's the round peg square hole scenario that we've talked about for a while. So we wanted someone that was going to be innovative, that had a good experience across multi-sports, that understood the landscape of how the US works, and therefore be flexible in ultimately building that platform, as you said, that allow the specific players, coaches and support staff to maximize their potential, I suppose.
And is it a drawback if somebody comes from overseas because they don't necessarily understand what college sports is in the United States, or what how the American club system or the professional system works?
There's not one environment, because you also want someone to understand how things work within the Olympic criteria, which is global. You want someone to understand how World Rugby's high performance support metrics get put in place from a global side.
in this instance, it doesn't all have to rest on one person. There are certain things that in high performance are agnostic of the country you're in. There's systems, there's processes, there's ways of working and thinking, which are actually the most important thing. There are other skills that we can supplement with. As you pointed out, we're hiring a number of people into high performance structures. So the idea there is, how do we build a team that has all of those things covered? How do we do, and it is incredibly important to have a base of knowledge to understand what we're doing here in America, to understand how scholastic, collegiate, club sport works here. That's incredibly important. So how do we build a team that has that knowledge?
And this is Milton Haig talking about it with me just a couple of weeks ago.
One of the reasons I'm here is I know what high performance looks like. I've been involved in high performance teams for a long, long time. So one of the reasons I was going to be here originally was to help coaches, try and get high performance involved. But now that I'm running the program, well, then it's just obviously one of my key fundamentals is, look, this is what high performance looks like, and that's not just high performance on the grass; it's high performance off the grass. You know what I mean? So again, it's giving them some windows to look at. Okay, this is what high performance looks like. This is what we want to keep repeating in this team. And again, that's something I've done before in a lot of the teams that I've coached since being involved in New Zealand teams and stuff like that. So, I'm excited because this group has got some talent. We've got some other people, obviously, that are also coming in for the WXV that we're excited about to have, and again, it just shows that there's certainly, if we really look at USA Rugby, again, it just seems to me that there can be so many highlights if we just get probably our talent identification right. I think that's something that I've really thought about. We need to do a better job maybe in that, and certainly talking to the girls about all that sort of stuff, and then talking to Rich and talking to other people about it. I've even reached out to people that I know who work around the world who've had something to do with rugby in the US, and certainly some of the things I've got back is probably working. We need to have a bit more of a template in terms of identifying talent and then moving talent through.
Yeah. Taking care of, I mean, I use the term taking care of a player, but it doesn't mean, paying them, or it doesn't mean coddling them. It means just keeping an eye on where they're going and how they're developing and what are they straying from that, and
then again, the next process is just making sure we've got the right coaches at the right level. So that is absolutely crucial as well. You know what I mean? Because again, we've always had this saying in New Zealand that good coaches make a difference, and that to me is still something that we can apply within the USA Rugby environment. And again, whether that's local, whether that's overseas talent coming in and helping. World Rugby are pretty aggressive in trying to help with that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? And so again, I'd be sort of looking at pulling all sorts of strings to see if we can get funding to run those types of programs, because I know for a fact that World Rugby are very interested in trying to make rugby very successful in the United States.
All right, thanks for watching. Support the site however you can. Come read Golf Rugby Report. Support us as an anonymous patron or a Patreon patron. You would have known about Tamara Shepherd much earlier, before it was officially announced, had you been a Patreon patron, because I spilled the beans there earlier. So some support, very much appreciated for all the people who support us.